As the trade war continues, first and foremost, I'm going to give all glory, honor, and praises due to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakah HaKodash. That's the name of the Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit, in whom we praise. Double honor to the apostles, elders, and bishops of Great Millstone who rule well over the flock of Israel. Shalom and salutations to you. I came out here pushing the words of truth and sincerity. I'm a proud mouth, and I brought this video and this lesson will be edifying. I'm just continuing to notice how Revelations 18 is being it's just popping out right now. It's just completely visible. It's bearing its legs, so to speak. It should be obvious that Mystery Babylon the Great is America in 2025. It should be so obvious, more than ever obvious, that Mystery Babylon the Great in the book of Revelation is dealing with America. That whore that sitteth upon the beast is dealing with America. That beast is dealing with NATO, EU, and these other foreign nations, European EU nations. When it talks about Revelations 18, roughly paraphrasing, how they'll hate or they'll stand far off and torment the merchants because how much riches they was able to make and live lavishly from Babylon, by selling merchandise to her. You can see how other nations and countries, their whole economy is dedicated to selling merchandise to America. I mean, the dedication level is serious. And these trade wars, or this trade tariff wars, has fully exposed that these nations need America to make money. They go as far as to find ways to get around tariffs, spend billions of dollars to open up factories in other parts of countries of the world just to escape tariffs, only to find out that the tariffs now affecting other parts of the world. So, truthfully speaking, I'm of the belief now that Trump already knew what the game plan was for a lot of these companies to get around tariffs. There's been years and years of that, where they can just go ahead and build another factory in another place. And so he cut them off now from doing that, and that really seizes up operations. And you can see the sadness of these other foreign countries and these companies, because they cannot get their products to America, no matter how cheap they are, inexpensive, good working, readily available. Because of the trade tariff wars, they just won't ship it because they're not going to make any profit off of it, or they're just going to make the same amount of profit that they would make if they had factories in the U.S., which is why they left the U.S. in the first place, to make more money. So let's go up and watch this video, and I'm just going to close it. I quoted the scriptures already, and it's going to be a quick one. I brought this out.
Absolutely killing me. I run a factory in China, and this last month nearly broke us. I want to show you what it actually looks like here. We laid off some staff. We fought with suppliers over price hikes. Everything that we started has been canceled. Every plan that we had is gone. Can't plan for anything. We thought we were covered. We built a second factory in Thailand. We had our systems in place, but then the freaking tariffs followed us. And the cost of raw material, well, it's still controlled by China. So at the end of the day, you can move your factory, but you can't move the supply chain. So I get to the factory in my day-to-day around 8 or 9. There's emails, there's delays, price changes, whatever. Nothing is locked in anymore, and basically everything is moving. I haven't slept more than 4 hours a night into last week. There's basically no time, just pressure. Our team is small in the exec level, just the 3 of us at the top. We meet every day to figure out what we can still do, what we can still save, and what we have to cut loose. Meanwhile, most factories in China are going dark. A friend who supplies Walmart told me their buyers said basically shut it down. The factory used to run 24/7, and now it's basically just shut off. We bet really big on Thailand. We bought land, we built capacity. Most people rush to Vietnam and they're stuck. Delays and congestion congestion, and at the end of the day, tariffs are still there, and the raw material is still coming from China. So this trade war isn't a headline; it's basically a systems failure. You know, we're still here, we're still building, we're moving. I end the day by going to the gym, going for a walk, get a sweat in. So if you want to see what it takes to keep a factory alive right now, well, stick around, and maybe I'll show you, or maybe I'll fail. I don't know. The U.S.-China trade war is absolutely killing me.
So as you can see, Moab is getting stiffed, or what they say, shafted, or back in the day. You know, their whole operation has been shut down, and these are just a group of young CEOs, but they just shut the whole thing down, and a lot of unemployment going on in China right now. And this is I would go as far as to say it's like an economic hit. It's a capital war. That's what I forget his name. He's everywhere now. Robert something. I forget his name. Salaki. But he talks about a capital war, trade war, so forth and so on. Always more than likely lead to military wars, real physical military wars. So these are all proxy wars. Don't just think that these threats are going to go unanswered. China's finding ways right now. And usually what they do when they get hit with tariffs is go and build in other countries so they could circumvent or go around these tariffs that are directly aimed at one country, except now there's tariffs all across the board. All right, so these trade wars, capital wars, end up turning into real wars, and this is why we know what time it is. Again, exercising full brain functioning will let you know that war, or World War III, and the return of Yahushua must be around the corner, because look at all of the wars and rumors of war activity just because of this trade war. And it's directly aimed at China, who makes the most money or produces the most. They have the best, highest economy, the most trades right now. Maybe not the highest economy, but they're right dead on close at eclipsing American economy. And so it's always been about to go down. So a few of these, let's read a few of these because these are informative. Somebody said, so you aim for cheap labor and sell your products to USA, right? It sucks for sure, but there is some countries out there can offset the differences between the labor costs and raw materials. He said, our labor is most expensive in China. We're in Shenzhen. Somebody said, I'm surprised y'all didn't build a factory in Mexico. So again, the idea is this: how can you go around tariffs? Well, there's tariffs on every country now. So they hit him where it hurt. He said, I don't speak Spanish. This guy says, things are pretty much seized up everywhere. Small businesses, large businesses, too big to fail, monopolies, trillions in wealth wiped out for no reason. So, man, Trump pulled the greatest switch of all time. He threw that trade tariff in, and you are watching money just being made from the banker side, because the capital is being washed out of the markets, of the stocks markets, and these different indexes. So a lot of trade is still going on. It's just all capital. It's dealing with stocks and forex, or the pricing of dollars and monies and currencies. And the people who got the heads up tips, they were able to buy the perfect or the right thing at the right time, whereas everybody who's trying to save money or preserve their money rushes in, and fools rushes in. And meanwhile, the person who was tipped off or ready for this gets to grab up all the fool's gold, the money that was just rushed in. People need a place to safely put their money. And I believe, if you look at what the 1%, right, going back to the rich elite bankers, when you look at the 1% or the 0.1%, you're going to find out that they always, since forever, have been making more money, bringing in more money for their 0.1% of people out there, of elites, and then the rest of the people have been losing money, wiping out middle classes. There used to be actual thriving middle class, right? I'm so-called from middle class. Middle class didn't hit this generation, my generation. We were probably the last of the middle class generations. Now it's just paycheck to paycheck. So everybody's getting hit by these tariffs. He said, got to keep moving and find different opportunities, but there aren't any. You need your goods sold to the U.S. and they have cut every avenue off to you. So you had to cut back all your workers. Now, this rich CEOs might be straight because he's basically looking at it from a rich CEO's perspective. You see, he kind of stressing, but he got to shut down his factory and walk away, getting to figure out how to keep moving and spending money. But what happened to all of his factory workers? He might have had in the hundreds between here and Vietnam or wherever else he built, Thailand. He might have had thousands, maybe millions of workers got laid off all around from several factories in China. Hundreds of millions. They got to suffer now. Deadly. It was a deadly surgical strike. This woman says, my husband's company is in Shenzhen too. So, I mean, without continuing to read, the point is illustrated now that in Revelations 18, when it tells you how the merchants standing off, now you see who those merchants are. The merchants got to be the ones that's in pain right now because they can't trade with the United States and make their bread. The United States got to be the woman, the dressed in scarlet, the whore, or also and also, that mystery Babylon that gets destroyed in an hour, whereas the merchants standing off are crying and worried, roughly paraphrasing, and upset and in anguish and in shock, because all of their riches that they used to make off of this place is gone. No more products to be able to sell. No more trade with the whore. No more getting fat and living luxurious. So we also know that this trade war is going to commence again. Shout out to the brother Ayash from Mississippi, the head elder brother out there. We know that the trade is going to keep going because the final doom is when the judgment of the Lord comes by way of thermonuclear fire, World War III. The merchants still had been doing business with the whore in order to be upset. So they got to be standing off, looking at its torment and destruction, not just looking at its trade wars and standing off. You can see who they are now. They just exposed through the tariffs who those merchants are, who those people and the factory owners throughout China and all these other countries are. And this tariffs are just exposing that. So just pay attention to the tariffs and pay attention to who's getting hurt. Pay attention to what people are saying, and then you'll see how the scriptures is lining up perfectly, showing you who the merchants are and who Babylon is. Abaratizah, this video is edifying. Until next time, Kahalayim Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shah Bahashem Rakah Hakodash. Shalom.